Hey guys, sorry it took me a few minutes. How are you tonight? Hey Katie, cutie, can y'all hear me okay? So, I see that Don Wells is back to being able to control the narrative back on YouTube. I guess with the help of some creators that are writing into him and sending letters inside the jail, and the help of his sister, Mary is not going to be able to let her guard down any at all. They were able to slide that one right in there on top of us. If they're to be believed, right? Hey, Rhonda. Hey, Oreo. Hey, Channel Surfer. Makes you wonder exactly who all is in contact with Don inside that jail, because this is like right back to his old tricks of controlling the narrative on YouTube and then it being an outright lie once channels pick up on whatever it is that he wants to get out there, and then it's all funny. Because, I didn't even put it out there until after Chris had put it out there. Mary had told Evil Exists to put it out. Which I put mine with a question mark. And I'm still not sure that it's not true, just for the simple reason that I know that the Rockville, Tennessee address is 100% real. That I can track her husband 100% to that, Sonia's husband, 100% back to that Rockville, Tennessee address. I didn't have a chance to watch anybody this evening. I am trying to get packed to go to Tennessee. I was able to get 3 backpacks done for the Isaiah 117 house. One backpack I've got, it's for a baby, and I've got baby diapers and stuff in it, baby powder, stuff like that. Then I done one pink backpack for a teenager and put some little makeup supplies and a outfit for a teenager, a girl. Then I've just got one empty backpack. So, but I was able to get 3 backpacks, 2 filled, 1 empty. And I've been dealing with trolls all evening too. So Nothing too bad, nothing that I can't handle. But I do have to get my packing finished. So I'm sitting here folding clothes while I'm talking to you guys. Hey, Rebel Rouser, how are you? Hey, Tama. Hey, Dazed and Confused. Hey, Moulin Rouge. I'll go back and watch it here in just a little bit. But, he's definitely in the situation to where he's able to control a narrative. Because you look at the situation and how it happened, and you think back the way things were 6 months ago, the way that Jody Sue was controlling the narrative or feeding him the narrative and the way he would control it on YouTube. And other creators would, kind of feed him the narrative back in the very beginning. And now here we are. Two months before it's time for him to get out, 3 months. And he feels confident enough to start playing jokes again. Sonia said that she was in Paris, that she was not in Italy. Well, I don't know about any of that, but I do know that she's bought a house in California. And no matter how she is communicating with Don, whether she's going there or whether she's writing to him or whether it's email, you can bet your rear end that the feds have a copy of it. And the feds know every word that's been said. And anybody else that's talking to him as well. Whether that be content creators here on YouTube, whether it be somebody in Arkansas, whether that be Tim Mullins, whether that be one of his sisters. And I don't understand how that man could be that cocky. But that tells me that there's something deeply rooted wrong with anybody in that family that is willing to help him at this point. And that's not saying that he had anything at all to do with the disappearance of his daughter. But what that is saying is that he's not sending out any kind of messages to help find his daughter. If you've got time to play games, then you've got time to help us locate your daughter too. And I am just absolutely, I'm going to tell you, I am disgusted with this new narrative that Hawkins County is coming up with about this wild animal. That is just almost convenient for them now that it's time for the reward fund to expire. It's like that's an easy answer for them to say, well, we're just going to rule this as a casualty of the mountain. A wild animal got her. We're just going to resolve this reward fund and call that that. And we all know that that's not the truth. And these are the, look, don't be mistaken, because these are the exact same PIs that has been droning in that area this whole time. These are the same PIs that was droning. Think back to Ziggy's story of running into Chris out there, the PI Chris, out there droning the day that she was on Ben Hill Road talking to Fred Hill. She thought it was somebody else. And come to find out, it was Chris, the PI, that was out there droning that day. So this is nothing new. And they're blowing it up like this is a new thing for these PIs to be doing. And it's not. They've been doing this. This is not a new contract that they have with the wells. This is the same thing that they have been doing for a year now. Well, if you want to call them the uppers, but I'm starting to get other ideas about who the uppers are. I think that there's several uppers. And let me jump to this subject really quick. Yesterday, when I released that recording of Clyda Trent, I was under the impression that that interview was done by Backwoods Georgia Girl. It was not stated any different on her channel. It was never stated who it was done by. And I don't listen to that other channel, so I had no idea whose voice that it was. But still, at the end of the day, if the woman who done the interview has never done anything else right in this whole investigation, I commend her for that interview. We would not have had that interview had she not done that interview. I would still have played the interview at the end of the day had I known where it come from. Now, does that mean that I will play any other content that comes from that channel? No, I would not. Because I simply just do not believe in anything else that comes from that channel. I don't watch that channel. But do I commend her for the interview that she done with Clyda Trent? Yes, I sure do. No, I do not see anybody else that stuck their neck out to go get that interview. Do I believe that that's Clyda Trent? 100%. Yes, I do. And I am also in the process of trying to reach out to Clyda Trent myself. There was things said that only Clyda Trent would have known. There was things that was said that I have known about for months and months and months and months that very few people knew about. So like I said, has Lori not done anything else in 11 months that was right, I will give her credit for this interview and say that that's one thing that she has done right. I have been attacked all day. But let me tell you my honest thoughts on that. 2 kids don't come up missing off the same property within 10 years of each other, 9 years of each other. Something is not right about that whole thing. Clyda owned that 110 Ben Hill Road property when Carly came up missing off of it. Y'all listened to that recording just as well as I did, and there was some fishy things that was said, and there was some things, the dates that she wouldn't answer or that just didn't add up. And my opinion is she is one of the uppers. She's probably one of the head uppers. If she was only Don's mother's friend, and that's all there was to it, Why would she rush there to intercept DCS taking the children? Why would she have been there at Christmas? Even if you go back to Don's old Facebook when he was in Arkansas, he maintained a relationship with Clyda Trent. Absolutely, Sandy. Absolutely a female upper. Absolutely. Look into what her husband done. And then take a look into the Reverend Robert Dinsmore. When you are involved with the LDS church as deep as she is involved in it, and especially in real estate too, and they have been being pushed off their land in Utah, and they have been migrating to other states and settling in other states, settling in Tennessee and settling in Arkansas and stuff. Sometimes it's easier for women to fly under the radar than it is for men to fly under the radar. Exactly, Sage Sleuth. Just got her back. And I also run across an interesting newspaper article today, but when I opened the whole newspaper article, I could read the first page, but when I went to the second page, I got a 404 where the rest of the article had been removed. James Mullen was Tim Mullen dad. Joy Mullen was his mom. But this article went back to 2015. And it was just something about they were putting on some kind of church something at the Hammond house. And I assume that that's like a local spot around there. But anyway, that wasn't the interesting part of it. It said down underneath that, and I will put this in my community tab after this live so everybody can see. It says the characters from the Lamplight Theater will be doing a performance with or on behalf of the three Mullins that night, or with the Mullins, or something to that effect. So anybody that doubts, I've heard it say, show me proof that Tim has been involved with the SDA church. Tim's not involved with the SDA church. Well, this article went back to 2015. And it's proof that he was with the people in the Lamplight Theater in 2015. Well, I said, whatever the Hammond House is not the key piece. The key piece is wherever that play was taking place. It was James and Joy and Tim, but joining them was the characters from the Lamplight Theater putting on this play. So that shows an association between Tim Mullen and the Lamplight Theater for 7 years now. At least. I suppose I could have looked up what the Hammond House was. But like I said, that's not the part that that caught my eye, or was the interesting part of the article to me. It was the association with the people from the Lamplight Theater in 2015. Hey, guidance. No, I think Tim is another one of the uppers. So if y'all want, we can do a few minutes of a Q&A while I'm finishing up folding this laundry real quick. If y'all have any questions, I might could answer for you. Well, I do know that Clyda has maintained a relationship with those kids for some reason. She talked about when, Summer was 3 or 4, that was the last time that she supposedly seen her. But she had maintained enough of a relationship that DCS let her take those kids to her Churchill property. And I think, I had said in the very beginning that her property needed to be searched as well. I said I thought Clyda Trent might be one of the female uppers. Well, Doug's allowed to have his drama or whatever topic over there that he wants to have. I'm actually trying to find out who these people are to find real life answers over here. So I do not think that we're distracting from Summer at all. I think that we're actually how did me playing that interview with Clyda Trent distract from Summer herself? Yeah, she's in close to Salt Lake City. She said that she was 20 miles from Don's dad. Maestro, that's exactly what I'm kind of thinking. Well, we had heard talk about a party before Summer come up missing, right? That there was a lot of people at the Ben Hill property just a day or two before Summer come up missing for this big party. Well, now we're hearing rumors of Don Jr. being there. We're hearing rumors of Sonia being there, Sonia's husband being there. Now we're hearing that Clyda Trent was there. The more time that goes by, it seems like the more people we find out was at or around that property days before, or the day before, or the day that Summer come up missing. Now Jody Sue even admits to being on that hill that day that Summer come up missing. Yes, he is an RSO. There was a man also that lived at 145 Ben Hill Road, and his last name, it was something Edward Thompson. I can't remember his first name, but he was also an RSO. Don't think he lives there anymore, or he may be deceased. I don't remember. But anyway, while he lived there, his property was actually owned by a Dorton, which is Leslie Hill's another last name that she has used, and one that her son has used, and her son is an RSO too. I do know that this Thompson guy was supposedly caught up in that drug bust. And that's another thing. As the days go by, I'm recognizing more and more and more and more content creators that's not just off of Beach Creek, but that was involved with that drug bust. And there's quite a few of them here. And I'm wondering what they're doing here. And is it just because that the fact that they are from Beach Creek and just about everybody in Beach Creek got busted? Is it just because it's just a small populace of people and that it really has nothing to do with the drug bust? That it's just the population and it just seems that way? Just like most of them are RSOs. Well, I keep hearing people say, well, they could have cremated her like in that big wooden oven down there. People do not realize when you cremate a body, that still just burns all the flesh away. You have to have some kind of grinder to disintegrate the bones. The bones just don't disintegrate by fire. Even when a funeral home burns them at 1800 degrees, the bones just do not disintegrate. There is no fire that is just going to disintegrate all those bones. They have to be ground up. You're still going to have a certain percentage of skeletal remains. And that's what a lot of people, they don't grasp that concept. It may reduce the bone down, but it's not going to totally disintegrate them. Crime Time, have you ever noticed that the boat was never there in the first 3 or 4 sets of pictures or videos that we ever seen on that property to begin with? So the boat was not there, and then it was there, and now it's not there again. I don't know. The Wells had a boat, like a decent sized fishing boat. And it stayed parked on the back side of the house. And I'm not talking about the little kayak either. It was a fishing boat. And it was a boat that was big enough probably to hold the whole family. And I don't think that it was up there even when Chris McDonough was up there. But there was pictures of it on the property before Summer come up missing. And then the boat was back up there again in some aerial photographs, maybe. Or the next time somebody was up there taking pictures on the property, the boat showed back up. And it's been sitting up there since. Now, we're not talking about the little kayak. This is like a fishing boat, motorboat. Because that was about the same time that the car started rusting up. And I was like, hey, Don, when was that new Subaru underwater up to the windows there? Because I had done a video where up to the windows had rust all over that new red car. And it wasn't from like road salt either, because this was like in the summertime. Yeah, the video should be over in my collection of videos about and it's titled something to the effect of "When was the car under this much water?" Well, they needed to like seriously do some DNA on all those boats. And yeah, one of my original theories too was that they were playing hide and seek and she had climbed up in that hunting blind down there by the creek, and one of the loose boards that she might have just fell through. And it was not long after that, after I had released that theory, that she fell through and hit her head maybe on some limestone rock. And Don went and tore most of that hunting blind down. And I've always wondered about that. Because I thought, well, they went down there to the creek and they got her and they took her over to the 125 Ben Hill Road property. And they held her over there until all the searchers left. And then they done whatever with her. But who's going to illegally do that? Who's going to risk their license and then going to jail for that? Because we've already, David Dotson wasn't working. He was unemployed at the time. So whose cremation oven would have been used? Oh, yes, they do. There's dogs that they have trained to smell bodies like from the California wildfires that have been completely burned up, that have burnt so hot for days that they have turned to nothing but ash. And there is a video over in my stuff over there that explains the whole process of that. See, I was in search and rescue for almost 20 years. And they do have dogs that can smell. If there is the tiniest piece of bone left in the ash, there is dogs that can smell it. And that was the kind of dogs that Chris had took up into the rocks when he went up into Utah, where that memorial was at. David Dotson was unemployed. I went through this the other day because he let his license lapse and he had practiced without a license. And the state caught him, and the funeral home had to pay a bunch of fines and stuff that he was working for. He had forgot to renew his license. That's something we're all concerned about, is if she was put in the bottom of a grave somewhere. But they claim that there's cameras at both of those churches. Well, I said the thing was being scattered all over. How do you crush that much bone and not leave any skeletal evidence behind? Guidance. There is the maps to the closest within 12 miles. The caves and crevices. I've got maps to those over in my stuff too. Mama Cedar, that would be something Jody Sue would have had to done right there. She's the only human being on the face of the earth that would have been that sick. And I don't think that if it was something like that, I don't think it was because her son was creeping or anything. I think that it was because he was driving his grandma's truck that day and there might have been an accident that happened. Or this is something that's always stuck in my mind. Jody Sue was never supposed to be driving on any of that medication that she was taking, period. She was not supposed to be driving with the radiation. She was not supposed to be driving on the pain medication. But we all seen her driving up and down the roads, pissed off, making those videos between May the 7th and June the 16th or June the 14th. And it makes you wonder if maybe she was just not paying attention, driving up and down those roads of Beach Creek, making those hostile videos. And something happened and she done it herself and it wasn't even her son. Well, the obits are not even really going to matter because somebody could have held her in a freezer or they could have temporarily buried her somewhere until somebody did pass away. Like I told you the other night, I feel like she wasn't to her final resting place until September. I think the bomb threat at Volunteer High School, I think that that was to keep the police busy while they moved something. That was one of those look over here, don't look over here. And that phone call come out of Canada. And they could not even make an arrest on it because it happened off of an Indian reservation. It was August the something, August 10th or something like that. And let me say, all that's just in my opinion. I don't, let me remember to throw that in there. I don't know anything for sure. That's just something I've just always felt that they were connected. I do think it was a distraction. I think it was one of those, hey, we're going to send everybody in the police department over here. And while they're looking over here, we're going to be looking over here. And then it was long about September, I think, when they found the man burning in the car in Beach Creek. I don't remember what his name was, but it would be easy to look it up and find out. All you would have to do is Google 2021 man burns in vehicle, Beach Creek, Tennessee. Give me 1 second. The bad thing about folding laundry is after you get it folded, then you've got to take and put all the towels up, and you got to put all the wash rags up. And I hate laundry. And I'm trying to think of the guy's name that found Kaylee Anthony. Y'all know that he was originally from Kingsport, Tennessee, right? Kronk, yes. And you know that that's Leslie Hill's uncle or something, right? Some kind of relation to Leslie Hill. That's just some more of her people. So that's just another like anomaly that's in this case. It probably has nothing to do with it, but it's just another one of those things that's always in the back of your mind that makes you want to chew your fingernails off because there's just so many sick folks. Because, they put him on trial in Florida because they had accused him of knowing where Kaylee's body was at and even putting her there. And they never could prove it. And they do have a lot of connections to Florida. You know, Jody Sue absolutely flips when you mention Florida. Yeah, right. You only believe in so many coincidences, right? Back in the beginning of this case, I did. I have not tried recently to see if there's been anything new come up under it. I've been focusing my energy on other things, and like I said, today I spent some more time on Tim Mullins, and that's how I found the 2015 post that went back that connected him to the people at the Lamplight Theater back in 2015. But he has nothing to do with the people at the SDA church. Remember that. He was an electrical worker. And nobody's ever been able to prove one way or the other if Jody Sue's brother was actually a tree trimmer that day or not. There's been rumors circulating that he was on Ben Hill Road that day. Oh yes. But seeing as how he's dead, it's kind of hard to prove. No, I don't think that there was an accident with the tree trimmers. Well, right now that is just like rumor and speculation that's been flying around. There is absolutely no proof of it. Guys, don't forget that I offer membership for 99 cents a month, less than a cup of coffee every month. And you can find that over in my community tab. And it would mean the world to me. And it would sure help us out over here. Our subscriptions are down as far as looking people up, our truth finders and all that stuff. Um, all of our subscriptions are down right now. The tree trimmers told Ziggy that they seen Candace leave with her that morning and she was laying in the back of the truck. And that was the last time the tree trimmers saw her. Summer. It was the last time the tree trimmers saw Summer. And I don't think anybody's had a chance to talk to the tree trimmers again since the information has come out about Jody Sue's brothers. Yeah, I think it was so early in the morning that she was just like asleep in the back of the truck. She was laying down. Well, proof of life, actually, Allie never seen her either, and neither did Leslie. The video was so grainy, there was really not any CCTV of her either. I mean, there's just really nothing. Katie, I think that is one reason why they had the milk jugs piled up the way that they did was to block any security and CCTV cameras from seeing inside the truck good. Think about that. I think any video that they have of her that day is going to be all grainy and just like terrible footage, and you're not going to be able to tell if it's her or not, much less tell if she's breathing or not. But I thought about that very early on about, that would block the way she was slumped over on that milk. But, that milk would surely block, any view of any CCTV coming in from that side of the vehicle. Well, the milk is one of two things. It's actually either milk to drink, and that's exactly what it is. It is just milk, and she has fell asleep on cold milk. Kids fall asleep on anything. Or it's anhydrous methamphetamine. It's liquid meth. Her legs did look swelled up. She could be packed down with money. That might not be swelling, that could be money inside her pants leg. And that's a very real possibility. It's more real than what it sounds. Look it up. People use little kids her age all the time just for that. Police don't pull little kids out of their car seat and search them down for wads of cash or drugs. And drug dogs cannot smell anhydrous. You cannot smell, excuse me, you can't smell the meth until it's actually processed and made into the crystal form. Oh, I have no idea. It would be a lot, I'm sure. I don't even know how much powder it would, or crystal or powder or whatever 2 gallons would make. I would have to research that a little bit. I've never just really broke it down. Sure, it would be a lot. Oh, thank you, Mary. I appreciate that so much. I promise I will. Fentanyl can be put in anything. Most certainly can. But usually fentanyl is in pill form. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Mary. That means the world to me. I think like, it only comes in patches by prescription. When these street chemists do it, I don't think they put it in patches. I think they press it into pill form. Hey, Foss, how are you? Yes, and fentanyl can kill you on contact. A milk jug full of fentanyl could kill a whole community full of people. That would be enough to kill like a whole community. Because 1 grain is enough to kill one person if it's not prepared correctly. That's what makes fentanyl so dangerous, is because you might do a half a pill one time and you do okay with it, and then the next time you buy it, that same half a pill may have 10 times more in it than it did the next time, and it just never has the same amount in it, and it kills you. Good grief. That's ridiculous. Right. I watched part of Breaking Bad when it first came out. I never watched the whole series, but I watched bits and pieces of it. It was a pretty good show, though. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. My heart goes out to you. I'm sorry she lost a child, too. It's no big secret. I lost a son, but his was advanced cardiac heart failure, but it was from meth exposure. So, but he suffered greatly for several months. He was sick for a long time, even though he was clean. It damaged his heart, enlarged his heart, and it was awful watching him suffer. So I'm sorry that any parent has to go through that. My heart goes out to you. Thank you. That's something else that's kind of never fit the script with me either, is you can tell by talking to another parent that's lost a child. You know when you're in that club and you have empathy for one another. And you can also tell that that other person has suffered and how much they've suffered. And with Don and Candace, I never saw that and I never understood because I lost my son about the same time that Summer come up missing. And I never understood why they did not go through that grieving process that I went through. And they should have went through the grieving process at the same time I went through it. Or close thereabout. Nobody grieves at the same time or in the same way or in the same time frame even. But, it should have been in the same ballpark, playing the same game of ball there. And I just never understood. I never seen that emptiness in their eyes or that. And I guess that's one reason why I've been back and forth with are they guilty or are they not, and what are they guilty of? I'm sorry that you're in that club with the small fries. It doesn't matter how you lose them. It's you never get over losing your child. I mean, it's right, Mary, and it's heartbreaking. You know, I guess it was like 6 weeks before my son called, or 6 weeks before my son had the first heart attack. He had called and he asked me if he could come home. And I told him, yeah. And he said, well, I need you to send me the money to come home. And he was out in Oklahoma. And I sent him $200 to come home. And y'all know before I even tell this story that he did not come home. He didn't show up. And before he died, he told me, he said, if I would not have went and got high with that money that you sent me, and if I would have come home when I told you I was coming home, he said, I wouldn't be laying here dying now. And that just broke my heart. But, every bone in my body knew that he was right. That, that last decision that he made to get high. So, but anyway, that's the way it goes. He made that decision. I did not make it for him. He made that decision. But after he got sick, I went out there and I got him and I brought him back home. And yeah, you're right. It was the addiction that did it. It gets easier. That's about it. A little bit easier. And that was not easy. Yeah, that blame game's the worst game that you can ever play with yourself. That's for sure. Yeah, if Don doesn't go to Utah, it's gonna make all this gonna be basically for nothing. If he goes back up on that hill, what good's all this gonna have been for? Well, yeah, you can say that. She has brought justice to her brother's life, if nothing else. She has brought them justice. If she does not ever see a bit of justice for herself, she has seen justice for them. And that's worth something. But yeah, that makes that even more concerning if they rule this an animal accident that DCS may send those boys right back home. Did everybody see the petition on my community page to keep the reward fund going longer than a year? Please jump over there and sign that real quick after the live is over if you haven't already. And that's to keep the county from taking that money on the 15th. And don't forget to like this video too and knock it into the algorithm. Well, at least you got her channel, Surfer. Thank you, Nightbird. My son had not had any children yet, so I didn't have any grandchildren from him. I'm sorry. You absolutely were blessed with her channel because the girl that my son was living with, I found out while he was laying here sick that she had went and had an abortion, and then he passed away. And I have never wanted to squeeze somebody's head off so bad in all my life, and I don't think that anything has ever hurt me as bad as losing one of my kids, or other than losing one of my kids, as what she went and done, knowing that what was about to happen. And I thought that was so selfish of her. And it was so she didn't have to get sober and she didn't have to straighten up. And that was the only reasoning in her head for it, was so she didn't have to deal with her addiction. Because I had offered to put her through rehab. I offered her a place to live. I offered to help her and the baby. I done everything that I was supposed to do. But I couldn't make that decision for her. But I've got one little grandson now, and he is the light of my life. I don't get to see him as much as I would like to because my other son's in the military and they're not home much. But when I do get to see him, I spoil the hell out of him. me see if I can post it. Hang on, give me just a... I don't even know how to do that. Yes, I do. I'm looking for my live. Give me just a minute. I'm looking for it here on my phone. There we go. I'm looking for it here on my phone. There we go. All right, that's the link for Summer's petition to extend her reward fund. Yeah, y'all jump over and like the video if you haven't already. Get it into the algorithm. I wonder why it's not available on Apple. That's what I just done it with, Kitty. It was my Apple. That's crazy. I don't know then. Now I know it won't hardly do memberships on Apple. I don't know, Eudora. That's why Benny Key said that he wasn't going to go, was so it didn't turn into about him instead of Summer. So he decided that he wasn't going to go. So I hope that creators would not let it turn into that. Thank you, Eudora. You have a blessed night. But yeah, he said that he was afraid that if he went to any of them, no matter whose he went to, whether he went to the one at Warriors or one at the police department or whatever, that it was just going to cause chaos So he just decided that he was not going to go to any of them. So, and I respect him for that. All right, guys. Well, it is going on an hour and 45 minutes here. And the longer it takes, or the longer I'm on here, the longer it takes for my live chat replay to come back up. And if it's usually any longer than an hour and 45 minutes, it takes until the next day for my live chat replay to come back up and everything. So I'm just going to jump off of here. And I guess I will talk to y'all sometime tomorrow. And I hope everybody has a blessed night. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to jump over to the community tab. Join for 99 cents a month. That's less than a cup of coffee each month. And we would appreciate it over here. And like I said, I will see y'all tomorrow. And thanks so much for being here. Without y'all, I would just be nothing. I would be sitting over here talking to myself. And that would not be any fun whatsoever for me. So y'all share the video out. And I will see y'all tomorrow. God bless.